Okay, so we should be back on YouTube now. I just made a new stream as like a part two, and hopefully you guys should get a notification in the Discord. This is why it's so important, guys, to be following me on Discord as well, just so that you guys are aware whenever there's like technical issues or things like that, you'll be able to see in the Discord any notification, even past what YouTube or TikTok will feed you, because then it'll give you every proper notification, because you guys should get a notification every time I go live, and there should be one being delivered to you guys as well. Okay, let me even send one in the Discord right now and send a link to you guys to say the new live stream. Excuse me. Okay, perfect. New live stream. I hate technical difficulties, but it is what it is. Let's see, at. Make sure you guys all join this up. At everyone. Got to join the Discord. Live here. Okay. All right, so I just sent out a notification to everyone in the Discord so that you guys someone said they don't want you to give us the information. Literally, for real. Okay, let's hop back into this. So I'm gonna leave the first part up, and then the second part will just be like for you guys. You can rewatch the first two parts. I'm recording all this, so when I chop it together, obviously there'll be no issues. Okay, so let's hop right into what we were discussing. Let me just put a second one. And this at everyone. Put in the general chat as well. At everyone. I'm live here now. Okay. That's why I like Discord, because I can just reach everyone at the same time. Doesn't have to be that hard. Thank you, Nicole, who donates $5 in the new chat. You guys know more than anything that I hate technical difficulties, especially those that have to do with the Wi-Fi, because I pay too much money for my Wi-Fi to be going out like that. Why is, boy, if Tickfinity don't start up, boy. Let me see. One last thing, I just gotta make sure it's working, and then we should be good. Everyone spam ones in the TikTok chat. I'm trying to figure out why my TikTok chat not pulling up here. So maybe I have to refresh this. Is there a way to refresh my thing though? Maybe if I give me 1 second, I'm gonna exit OBS. Oh, there we go. But what about YouTube? What about YouTube? Live chat? My YouTube chat not working? I want my YouTube chat working. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure. I'm trying to figure out why my YouTube chat not working. I want this to be good. I didn't remember. I wish I had some music I could play for y'all. Docs, YouTube chat. My apologies, guys. You know I be not liking doing this stuff on, like, what? What is going on? Chat is disabled for this live stream. Like, what? How? You are so dumb. You are so dumb that you would do this to me. Let me pop this out. they don't, honestly, they don't want you to get this information. I think we know the type of people that probably tried to sabotage the stream here, because they don't want you to have this information. When you be talking too crazy on the net, they don't be wanting the people to really know what the hell is going on. They want you to stay blind, stay unaware type shit. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Should be crazy. It's crazy. I might just make this a I don't give a F stream and just say what I want to say. I might just make this a whole different type of stream today, cause the way they tried to do me crazy today. Oh no. Okay. I figured out how to pull the. They tried me though. They tried me, dog. They tried me today. Okay, guys. So the first 2 points, we'll just do a quick recap of the first 2 points, and then we'll hop back into number 3. So number 1 was the tying of loose ends. And essentially that you need to be able to get rid of any sort of issues that will be stemming from this relationship before you get an opportunity to actually move forward, right? And the things that are going to bring you back, if you don't make sure ahead of time that these things are taken care of, all right? And then number 2 was to scream and shout, not specifically to the person that you're trying to get rid of, and stop thinking about, but scream and shout to the people around you, like your family and your friends and your loved ones. Let them know that the situation is over and why the situation is over, and that this is someone that you're no longer going to be associating yourself with. It's so important because you want the ability to properly be able to move on when you actually make the decision to move on. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, with that being said, so those were the first 2. Now, number 3 is what actually is funny enough that was going to be stop pooping time was number 3. The number 3 thing that you need to be aware of, which is to eliminate booby traps. Okay. Now, when I say you want to eliminate booby traps, you need to figure out how you are going to avoid the landmines that are going to exist in your life through social media and through just life in general that you're going to come across whenever you make the final decision to stop thinking about someone, okay? Let me make this real easy and real simple for you. Okay? When you're avoiding booby traps, one of the number 1 things you need to do is to delete every single picture, video, message, Snapchat, every single thread, every single group, anything that is associated with that person that you're trying to stop thinking about, you need to delete it. Now, I feel like we need to have a whole show on how to delete stuff properly, because some of you guys will be like, well, how much do you need to actually delete it? Do you need to delete it off your phone and you can keep it on your computer? No. Do you need to delete it off your phone and you can keep it in your iCloud? No. Do you need to delete it off your phone, but you can keep photo albums, and if you took a nice little cute Polaroid, you can leave those in your drawer because you're not seeing those every day? No. You get rid of any picture or video of you and that person, and you actually get rid of it not by just putting it in a drawer where you can't see it sometimes, not by putting it in a trash bag where you're not going to come across it sometimes. You actually take those pictures or videos, and if they're physical, you take them to a trash bin, a public trash bin, not a private one, a public one, that when you throw it away, you're never going to be able to access it again. It's going to go to a landfill that you don't know where it is, and it's gone forever. I don't want you keeping it anywhere on your person for sure, and nowhere in your house, not in your basement, not in your closet, not in a trash bag, not in your bathroom, not in your kitchen, nowhere. I don't care if you say, I never open that cupboard, I never go in that room, I never go in that closet, so I just keep that stuff there. Nowhere. I want it nowhere where you can stumble across it. Remember, I said, if you're serious, right? If you're serious about not thinking about someone and actually working through the situation, then you'll actually make sure to do this. If you're not serious about it and you don't really care that much and it's not that important to you, then you probably won't do this. But if you're actually serious about doing this and doing this the right way, you will throw these things away in the trash bin. not leave them in your room or leave them in your closet where you can find them. This is the reason I call this eliminating booby traps, is because these are the easiest things that you will stumble across when you finally are starting to work through the situation and actually get better from the situation and feel good about yourself once again. Okay, you don't want these things. Someone says, what if you get back together? Well, here's the thing, and this is really important. By the time you make the decision that you want to stop thinking about someone, you need to decide for yourself, why do I want to stop thinking about that person? So if the reason you want to stop thinking about that person is because you actually want to emotionally move forward, because that relationship isn't going anywhere and you want to be able to like build new relationships, then you've acknowledged to yourself there is no going back. So there is no saving pictures because one day we might get back together. There is no, oh, I'll delete them off my phone, but I won't delete them off my computer because what if I see that person again? Because if that's the case, then you're not even in a situation where you even need to be considering not thinking about them, because you're still trying to get back with them, in which case that's a whole nother story for another day. But if you've made the decision that you need to stop thinking about them so that you can actually get over this situation and work through this situation, then you need to sever it. Right? Sever it just means you need to actually cut it off. You can't be halfway in and halfway out with some sort of hope that things might go back to where they were before. It's the same issue when you don't want to tie up loose ends because you're hoping that maybe if I don't tie up loose ends, then it'll leave the door open. Stop. Stop leaving the door open. If you're trying to stop thinking about someone, the worst thing you can do in any capacity is leave the door open. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't do anything good for you. It doesn't help you. Close the door. Chan said, close that bit. Close the door for good. If you really mean that you're trying to stop thinking about someone so that you can move forward. Moving forward is not about leaving the door open somewhere else or leaving a crack or leaving a draft just so that if there's a possibility that he wants to be. No. When someone has had their chance and their opportunity with you and they've had their chance to make this right and build this relationship the right way, and they have chosen to utilize that time to F around and not do the right thing, there goes your opportunity forever. Okay? And you need to be okay within yourself that you close the door on people who you've given it, well, more than enough opportunities to show you that they're ready to treat you and treat this relationship the right way. Once you've given them those opportunities, if they choose to continue squandering them and they don't see the value in them and they don't see the value in you, after a while you say, goodbye forever. Yeah, that opportunity, you had it, you lost it now. So don't think that you're going to come apologizing to me and now all of a sudden you're going to realize that you want to do things the right way. Should have been thinking about that beforehand. Okay, don't let people do that to you, right? Onyi says, what if you want them back, but want them to respect your boundaries? That's actually a whole nother show for another day where we talked about what to do when a man comes back and how you're going to be trying to decipher the different things that he's going to be doing and trying to do to make sure that he comes back the right way, not in a way to downgrade you. Okay. This is for if you want to stop thinking of them because you actually want to move forward, not because you want to stop thinking about them for a little bit until you get back together. Okay, this is I want to be very specific because I know some of you are not ready to let go of a guy, but you're thinking to yourself, this isn't working out. And so you're like, well, I probably should let go of this guy. You got to start making, I know that it's hard and I know that it's painful, but you have to start making decisions in your relationships, okay? So eliminating booby traps is also about making decisions. Once you decide that I'm trying to move forward from you and I want to stop thinking about you, you need to get rid of pictures, get rid of videos, get rid of Snapchats, like I said. And we've talked about this before because I know some of you do this. You also need to be getting rid of screenshots. Okay. And I know some of you do this, and especially some of you that are on the younger side and even some of you that are on the older side do this, where you keep screenshots, whether it be of really amazing things that he said to you or really horrible things that he said to you or a combination of both. And you have a plethora of screenshots in your phone of you and that person's and that guy's conversation. Okay. I know I'm you. I know how you think and I know what you do. Okay. We're friends. We talk a lot. So I say that to say those are part of the things you delete. You basically want to leave yourself no room for error, where you will ever be in a situation where after doing all of that hard work, getting through this, working through this, doing all the things that you need to do, following all these instructions that we give and we talk about on the show, after you finally do all of that, which is the hardest part, you come across a couple of silly pictures or a silly sweater or a silly piece of underwear, or it just reminds you of something about him. And you say to yourself, damn, I do miss those times that we used to have. Damn, I do miss how we used to be when we blank, when we did this, when we did that. Because all of that confusion that will make you feel, whenever you feel that thing, your mind is gonna start playing tricks on you, and you're immediately gonna say, maybe I should reach out to him. Maybe I should text him. Maybe I should see how he's doing or check his Instagram. That's the other thing that I was going to mention. When it comes to social media, okay, so let's say you delete the pictures, you delete the physical items. Remember, you've severed ties, so you've gotten rid of his clothes. You shouldn't have his clothes at your house. And if you have any leftover clothes at his house that he didn't need, you throw them in a public trash bin, not keep them in your closet. Okay, so everything is out of the house that's physical. And you've deleted stuff off of your computer, including pictures and videos and screenshots. Okay, now let's also tackle the social media. See, here's the thing about blocking. I need you to understand not every time blocking is for someone else. Sometimes blocking needs to be also for you, so that you can actually breathe and not go through the anxiety-inducing feeling that you get every time you open up Instagram or open up Snapchat or open up Facebook, feeling like, oh my God, when I open this up, am I going to see his story again? And am I going to see his story at some restaurant or at some club or at some bar with a couple of girls or a couple of people, or am I going to see him on a date? And every time you open that social media app, you have an anxiety-inducing experience where it just becomes about him and checking up on what he's doing. And then you're trying to figure out, oh my God, he did post something, or he did post a couple of stories, but I don't want him to see that I'm watching his story. So I'm going to make my fake account so that I can start going on his story when I see that he's posted a story, and I can watch his stories and see if he went on a date and see who he's out with and see who he's, so that he doesn't know that it's me. And then when I go on these couple of fake accounts, I'll be able to check it and he won't be able to know. And let me see what he's posted on TikTok and see if what he's posted on TikTok is aligned with what somebody. And you will start feeding this monster that wants to be fed and wants to get hooked on never being able to like move forward from someone or some relationship. And the moment you start doing that, right? Jen said the fake accounts is crazy. The moment, trust me, the moment you start making fake accounts and you start like being in that realm where you're thinking about, oh, okay, how can I see what he's doing without him knowing that I'm seeing what he's doing? You become obsessed with that. And it becomes your obsession to check up on him every day. And all of a sudden, you're not even opening social media to check anything about your friends or your family or anyone else that's important to you. Social media strictly becomes a little strategy and a little peephole where you can spy on the guy that you're supposed to be moving forward from, but you're spying on him so that he doesn't know that you're spying on him because you're supposed to be moving forward. But do you see how you can't be moving forward if you're spying on him? Okay? This is kind of like this. I know it's Gen Z stuff that we're talking about, and a lot of, new era stuff, 2024 stuff, and issues that we're talking about when it comes to relationships. But like I said before, when it comes to the pictures and the videos and the Polaroids and the text messages and the screenshots, the same way those can trip you up and become booby traps for you is the same way the social media can trip you up and become a booby trap for you. So the blocking can be something for you where you say, look, I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to search it. It doesn't even pop up on my search. It doesn't even show up on my history. And I won't trigger myself by allowing myself to freely be able to check his profiles. And if you know, here's the thing, okay? This is where you have to gauge and be honest with yourself about who you are. If you know that, because for some of you, you're in a horrible situation. If you know that even when you block him, and you say that I'm never going to check his profile again, that either you unblock him or you find a different back alley way to check his profile, even though you've blocked him on your main profile. My best advice to you is to delete the social media app altogether. You need to take a break from it until you can at least disassociate the social media app with him. Because if you know that it becomes that serious for you, that even blocking him doesn't allow you to like actually take a step back and stop desperately checking his social media profiles all the time, you need to take a step back from social media, because you don't even want to be tempting yourself. So don't even try and avoid the landmine if you know you don't have the self-control to open up the app without going on his profile. If you don't have that self-control, don't even open up the app. Right? Tracy now says, get rid of the triggers. Exactly. You want to anticipate, and this is where it comes in, where you have to know yourself, because you're going to have to anticipate what your unique triggers are and say to yourself, you know what? Before I even attempt, it's almost very similar to tying up loose ends. Before I even attempt to try to fight something that I know I'm already going to do, because you know yourself. If you're a chronic social media checker and you know that you're the type of person that's going to make fake accounts to be checking on someone's story, don't even bother trying to say to yourself, oh, I'll just ignore it. Don't even bother trying to say to yourself, oh, I'll just mute him, or just trying to say to yourself, I'll just skip over his story whenever I see it. Be so for real with yourself and say, I'm going to block him before it's even an issue. Or if you're someone that can't block people and actually not check their profile, just say, forget it. I'm just deleting the app and I'm going to start living my life off of the app until I've had some space away from the app and I can actually come back and have some self-control. Okay, be so for real with yourself. This is part of where it stops being like my advice kind of stops, and you have to kind of take control a little bit and say to yourself, okay, who am I really? And how am I really? And how do I respond to things really? Am I really the type of person that's capable of just blocking someone and never checking their profile? If I'm not, let me be so for real and just to not even check the Facebook or the Instagram at all. Let me just deactivate the Snapchat for 30 days, at least for a little bit. Okay, so that I don't even have to be bothered to try to check it or have this battle with myself internally. Okay, you're eliminating all versions of booby traps to do yourself a service that in the long run, you'll be able to actually build up the strength emotionally and mentally, that eventually when that person is introduced to you, or you do see their story or whatever it is, right? Or you hear of them, it's not just an instant trigger to you that sends you down a dark spiral, okay? But you need that time away from someone so that they don't just instantly trigger you and send you down that spiral. All right. So first was tying the loose ends. Number 2 was to scream and shout. Number 3, you eliminate booby traps. And number 4 is I really want to yell at you for this, but I know that you mean well, and I know that a lot of people are telling you a lot of really bad information, which is why you're confused about this. I want you to ignore newbies. One of the worst ways to stop thinking about someone, I know other people might tell you differently, but one of the worst ways, in my opinion, is for you to use that time that you're trying to strategize to stop thinking about someone, and rather than actually doing the things necessary to like detach yourself from the person, you're immediately bringing new people into your life, new energies into your life, and you're distracting yourself with those new energies and not allowing yourself to stop thinking about the person. The reason I say that is because I know some of you will say, but Tomisin, it makes it so much easier for me to not think about the person when I have a whole bunch of a roster of 300,000 men that I can talk to and give me attention and text and call and Snapchat and FaceTime, so then I never have to think about that man because I don't even have time to think about that man, and it works out great for me. Here is the thing though, as it relates to emotions and human beings. We do this thing where when you are not able, see, it's kind of like breaking up with someone is kind of like grieving their unaliving. When someone passes away and you actually have to grieve them and like really think about, you know, them and the fact that they're gone and you're never going to see them again, there's a process to like actually soaking that in, realizing that, and accepting that as the truth. It's the same way with relationships, and whether or not it was a situationship or a whole blown out relationship that was your boyfriend, whatever, or your husband, whatever it may be. There is a grieving process to actually understanding, yes, this happened in my relationship. Yes, our relationship did end. Yes, this is why it ended. And yes, this is where I am now. Some of you might think, oh, I can do that in a day. Tomisin, that doesn't take me more than 30 seconds. Yeah, I think, yeah, he cheated. Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, it was toxic. And yeah, now I'm single and I'm over it and I'm ready to explore a whole roster of 30 different guys. So I'm good now. I don't have to, I am already stopping thinking about him. I can meet whoever I want. No, because the reason that time is so important and why you don't want to be introducing new energies here is because the moment you introduce new energies to your life and you haven't yet properly went through the order of operations, like we say on this show, in to be able to actually stop thinking about that person without needing someone new in your life, what will happen is rather than you actually grieving that relationship and that person no longer being in your life, your feelings for that person will go on pause while you explore new feelings for this new energy in your life. And every time your feelings go on pause, the moment you have a little bit of silence or a little bit of stillness, or your days aren't getting filled with all of this new energy from new people, you will immediately get hit with a wave of emotion that stems from the feelings that have literally hit resume that you've always had for that old person that you're trying to get over. Okay? And the thing about it is, because they'll hit you like a wave unexpectedly, the same way where if you don't brace yourself, imagine like a huge wave coming at you, right? And it's like, or a mid-sized wave coming at you, and you're not able to brace yourself because you're turned around and you're looking at like the beach, you're looking at the sand and you're laughing with the friend. When that wave comes and hits you from behind, you're literally gonna fall and you might drown because it's so unexpected and catches you off guard. All of a sudden you're scrambling and you're rambling, and a way smaller, lighter wave can knock you over if you're not expecting it to come. And vice versa, if you're looking at the wave coming, and even if it's a larger wave and a heavier wave and you're like, whoa, this is kind of crazy here. If you're able to anticipate the wave and you're able to brace yourself by going underwater or, anchoring down or whatever it may be to be able to brace yourself for that wave, you'll be much better equipped to handle a larger wave than you are if you're turned around and you're unexpecting of it. So it's the same way with your emotions. See, when you hit pause on emotions, you introduce newbies into your life and new energies into your life, and you allow them into you spiritually and mentally and all that good stuff. In the process of that, you will hit those feelings that you had for that old person that you were trying to stop thinking of on pause. And then when they finally hit you in a moment, because you will have a moment of stillness in your life, you will have a moment of silence, and not every single second will be filled with new energy from new people. And so the moment you have just a little bit of stillness, that wave of emotion is going to hit you, right? Like the ocean wave. And because you're turned around facing towards the beach and not facing towards the wave, when it hits you, it's going to knock you over and you're going to drown, right? Because you weren't equipped and you weren't braced emotionally to feel that at that time. So very similarly, it's so important and hyper important that you don't introduce newbies into your life, because you're only going to hit pause on all the things you were working on doing with your old relationship and that old person. And you need to allow yourself to be able to be braced for the emotion that's supposed to hit you when you're working through a situation, especially one with someone that you've been attached to and you're trying to detach from and stop thinking about now. You need to allow yourself the space to be able to detach yourself from that situation. You need to allow yourself the ability to get and work through that. And you will never be able to do that when you're putting your feelings on pause, because when they hit you, it'll hit you real hard, real fast, real unexpected, and you'll be knocked all the way over. We don't want that for you. Okay? So tying up loose ends was number 1. Screaming and shouting, number 2. Eliminate booby traps, number 3. Number 4, ignore newbies. And number 5 is what we call distraction by action. Now, I know in number 4, I just finished telling you about how you don't want to be distracting yourself with newbies. Now, there's a very specific type of distraction that I do want you to do. Okay, I know that this sounds silly and stupid, But there's a very specific type of distraction I do want you to participate in when you're actually trying to stop thinking about someone. And this is probably the most important part of everything that we discussed, right? And leading up to everything, right? So the distraction by action I want you to participate in is I want you to pick one activity, okay? One activity that requires your reoccurring attention. So some of you might be confused when I explain this. First, I'm going to give you some examples so that you can better understand this. I want you to pick an activity in your life. Find something, okay? You're smart, you're intelligent, you can find something. Find something that's going to require reoccurring attention, meaning that if you are not present for it on a reoccurring, whether it be daily, weekly, or every couple of days basis, then that thing will fall apart, okay? The reason I say that is because you want something that is calling you externally to be there and show up for it or for them so that you don't have to decide for yourself, do I want to do that thing? Do I want to participate in that thing? Do I have to do that? Or should I just sit in my bed, be sad, and think about the person that I'm trying to get over, okay? See, because the thing about it is your mind is going to play a trick on you where if you're able to make the decision too many times and there's not something external calling you to be there for it, you're going to say to yourself, maybe rather than doing the things that are necessary to get over the situation, I'll just sit in my bed today and smell his sweaters. It won't be that bad. How bad can things get if I just lay in bed and sniff his sweaters? Oh, the sweaters do smell exactly like him. And that does remind me of how we used to cuddle together. And it does remind me how I haven't cuddled anyone in so long. And I haven't touched anyone in so long, and I haven't been close to anyone, and so maybe I should text him. Maybe I should text him. And then you pick up the phone and you call him. Because it's so easy to spiral out of control like that when you're not emotionally prepared for what is coming. Okay. And it's also a lot easier to spiral out of control like that when you don't have a course of action or something that will bring you there, right? Or get you to get up out of bed. And the decision is no longer yours. The decision is the responsibility that you now have to whatever it is that you're serving. So Hannah actually brought up a great point that I was going to say, right? So if you're saying, okay, I want to start up my garden. Okay, so I want to grow tomato tree. I don't know. Tomatoes are root. Okay, I want to do potato plants. I want to do a mango tree. Can you even grow mango trees in your backyard? I want to do a whatever tree, an orange, whatever. Okay, I don't care what you want to grow. Berries. All right. And let's just say you want to build out your garden. Now that's going to take work and preparation, and you're going to have to be there every day, making sure you're watering those plants, making sure they're taken care of, making sure that everything is looking good. Some plants might be dying. You got to figure out how to save them. Some plants might be thriving. You got to make sure how you can get all the other plants to thrive. When you put them out in the garden, some plants might get weeds, right? You got to make sure you pull the weeds, right? Something that's going to require reoccurring attention. Ivy mentioned the gym, right? So I don't even want it to just be the gym. I want it to be the gym in combination with you saying, hey, I want to build a new gym buddy, and you grab a friend or a family member and you say, let's be our gym accountability buddies. And so even if you're not going to the gym with them every day, you say to yourself, every day that we go to the gym, which let's say we're supposed to go to the gym 5 times a week, we're going to send each other pictures and videos. Today is September 26, 2024. I'm at the gym and I'm doing squats. And then you send them a video of you actually doing it. You understand what I'm saying? Some sort of accountability where it's like, okay, if I don't go, someone else is going to know that I wasn't there, right? If I don't tend to the garden, those plants are going to die. Those plants need me to be there and actually take care of them. If I don't go to the book club, those people are going to know that I didn't come to the book club because I signed up for the book club and I said I was supposed to go every single week. If I don't go to my Zumba class, Stacy and Stephanie and Ashley are all going to know that I didn't attend the Zumba class. And then when I go the next week, or if I go in a couple of weeks, they're going to ask me where I have been. And I'm going to have to explain to them that I was sitting in my bed, sad, sniffing the sweater of the guy that I'm trying to stop thinking about. Okay. And so that thought process, what it's going to do, this is why I say it's distraction by action. What it's going to do is it's going to force you To not be able to make the decision for yourself and say, do I want to be sitting around and sad today? Or do I want to get up off my butt and do something and like actually like get something done with my day? And see, the debate that you'll naturally have in your own mind, where you're naturally going to say, oh, maybe today I'll just sit around and be sad. You're naturally going to say, well, no, if I sit around and be sad, all these people are expecting me at the event. All these people are expecting me at the Zumba class. I need to water my plants or else they're all going to die. I'm not going to have a garden. I need to be at the book club. They said I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be accountability for my gym partner and all these things that I promise people. See, one of the great things that you can do when you want to have distraction by action, I want you to start, I know this is going to sound horrible, but I want you to start making a lot of promises to a lot of people. Because at that time, when you start making promises to be places and do things for people, right? Friends or family or close loved ones, what's going to start happening is you're going to start to feel the subconscious pressure that, oh, if I don't get up and do this, I'm going to have to answer to this. I'm going to have to answer to someone. I'm going to have to explain to myself. See, it's a lot easier to just sit around and be sad when the only person you have to explain stuff to is yourself. It's a lot harder to be lazy, sit around, be sad, just think about that guy and do nothing when the only person you have to explain it to is you. Okay? When people are counting on you or expecting you, or you've made promises to others, it stops being your decision and it starts being, well, okay, I did make a promise here. I have a promise to my friend. I have a promise to my coworkers. I have a promise to these people, the people in my book club, the people in my Zumba class, my instructor, my coach, my trainer, my best friend, my gym partner, whatever it may be that is helping to hold you accountable there. You're going to feel the need and the subconscious pressure to be there. Just sit at home and be sad. Okay. And like I said, I know that everything that we discussed today is not fun. And I know that it's not magical. And I know that it's not the thing that, you're like, but Tomisin, I just wanted you to tell me that in order for me to stop thinking about me, there's a magic potion that I could take that would make everything better. And I wouldn't have to worry about anything or care about anything. And, everything would just be better because you say that it's better. I want you to understand that a function of things actually getting better is you doing the hard things. And the hard things are always going to be actually putting in the work to get better by anticipating these things that are going to happen. Like we talked about, tying up loose ends, the screaming and shouting, eliminating booby traps, ignoring newbies, and distraction by action. Okay. I see there's some sort of, is there another glitch going on in my YouTube here? I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Is it glitching for you guys on YouTube as well and on TikTok? Okay. Luckily, I just finished this. Someone says, "Where is this potion?" The potion doesn't exist. Okay. I'll let you guys know that potion does not exist. So I don't want you guys thinking that potion exists. Okay. While I can't restart my internet anymore, I gotta kind of just wait it out for it to get better. But while we're waiting for the internet to get better here, I want to shout out a couple people who donated. You guys are very generous today, so I appreciate that. And Nicole says, "Thank you, Tomisin. We love you." Then she donated $5 and said that. Then she donated another $5. She said, "Never let anyone steal your joy, Tomisin. Remember, we love you. Oh, wise one." You guys know I'd be so aggravated whenever the internet be messing with, the message, especially when I be flowing. That really makes me mad. But thank you. I appreciate that, Nicole. Miss says $20, sends $20 in the YouTube chat. She says, "Sending my support. I will send a question in Discord Premium. Thank you for giving us some tough love. You embody an older brother who gives a great relationship advice." Thank you so much, Miss. What was the name here? It just says Miss on here, but thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the $20 super chat in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much to you guys who all donate. And thank you so much to J. Nicole and Brooklyn and everyone else who donated in the YouTube chat. All right. Layla asks, are you coaching people? So no, I don't do one-on-one coaching simply because, not because I don't like you guys or don't love you guys. I just don't have enough time in a day in 24 hours to do one-on-one coaching. However, I am going to come up with a way that I can answer private questions of you guys that you guys can ask me through message and send me a message. I'm gonna give you a character limit, okay? And you guys can ask me private questions, and of course we have the premium Discord questions as well that you guys can ask, and I'll answer those as well. So I just have some patience, but as of right now, no coaching, just because I don't have time. Okay, so with that being said, let's hop into it. I want us to have a good rest of the stream today. So you guys should know what time is it. Can you tell me in the chat what time it is? Tell me in the chat what time it is. I want to know what time it is. Here we go now. In the chat, what time is it? I want to know what time it is. Here we go now. In the chat, what time is it? I want to know what time it is. Here we go now. In the chat, what time is it? I want to know what time it is. Here we go. In the chat now. What time is it? In the chat now. Tell me what time is it? In the chat now. What time is it? In the chat now. Tell me what time is it? I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time it is. I want to know. I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time it is. I want to know. I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time it is. I want to know. Discord time. Yeah. I need to get that scream out. You know when a scream feels good? Okay, so for those of you who are confused what is going on here and what we're even doing here, it's okay. Confusion is good. You'll learn lots and lots and lots. All right, so Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of the Discord get an opportunity to ask me a question over in our Discord, our Players Club Discord, and I answer them live on the show. Look at my beautiful face in HD there. We are going to head over into our relationship advice section. So I'll explain to you guys this real quick. Basically, we have two versions of relationship advice. The first version is the free version in which you guys can ask your questions to me, and there's just not, you can ask them there in the forum and I answer them live on the show. Okay. Now you access this by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description. It should be pinned at the top. It's in the link in the description if you're on YouTube. I didn't get a chance to pin it on YouTube. Okay. So now, there's a second version of premium relationship advice, because I will warn you, the free section has a lot of questions in it and it's first come, first serve. So all these questions you see highlighted here, they're over 100 that I haven't answered. So in order for me to answer these questions, I have to go first come, first serve. So I have to start from the oldest question, to be fair. So the oldest question is 28 days ago, so like a month ago, and it's going to be hundreds of questions before I can get to yours if you send yours in today. If you are impatient and you want me to answer yours before it's going to be like a month, or I have to answer these hundreds of other ones, then you have the option to go into our second version of relationship advice, which is the relationship advice premium section, where you guys can ask your question in this section. And it's like a VIP pass at a theme park where you get to skip the line. But in return for being able to skip the line, you just have to donate to the show. So in order to donate to the show, you just go to the same link in my bio if you're on TikTok, and if you're on YouTube, it's in the link in the description, and you'll see where it says premium relationship advice. You click that, and then in the process of you filling that out, you'll be able to see it says you got to fill out your Discord username and the title of your question. So have the title of your question in mind, and you probably should want to create your Discord username beforehand so you know it. And then so then when you put that title and username in the Discord section, from my end, I can actually see everyone that sends in a donation, and I can confirm that that's you by seeing that your username name and your Discord question is there. So you see how that works, where it's nice and neat and tidy. I know that it's you, and that way nobody's skipping the line who actually didn't send in a question, okay? So I'm gonna read these first today, most of these first. I'm not gonna read every single one, just to give the free section a little bit as well. And, they're going to, then we'll hop into the free section after we've read a couple of these VIP premium questions, okay? So we'll start off with Anna. So Anna says, question, I'm the tray girl and you told me, oh, by the way, guys, I'll make you guys aware, Anna did this the right way. So just be aware. When you send in a new question, you have to, like, for example, if you send in a question and I answer it and then you send in a follow-up question, it's to only be fair to everyone, you got to donate twice. You can't donate once and then send in multiple questions, okay? It has to be fair, because or else people would abuse it and donate once and send 30 questions in, and I'd never be able to get to anyone's question. So it's a donation for each question, just to be fair, okay? I'm the tray girl, and you told me he was interested, but his main goal is to get revenge on my ex and feed his ego by trying to have pineapples with me. He just texted me saying he wants to get off of social media, and he wants you to get off of social media, and wants me to give him my number. Oh, sorry, he wants to get off social media in general, like just like you guys not talking on social media, so he can get a hold of me. It looks like he just wants to a break off Snap, to be honest, because he literally followed 5 blondes today on Insta that didn't follow him back. I'm brunette, by the way. I would never date him for real, unless he unfollows all the girlies in my college that don't follow him back, gain some self-respect, and not follow such girls in the first place, is consistent with dates even if I don't reply to his chit-chat, has genuine intentions, posts and declares me as his girlfriend, etc. These are bare minimums every guy does automatically, but like you said, it seems like his intentions are wrong in the first place, so I don't know if he will meet my standards if I do date him, but I also seemed very not into him most of the time, so I don't know if that makes a difference. It doesn't. And what I want you to understand is, so you actually did some really good detailed digging of who you are and what is important to you. So you kind of said it right in these couple of sentences right here. And I want you to refer back to that, because those are the type of things that you want to be putting in like your handbook. Okay, your handbook that you're gonna go to whenever you're thinking to yourself, are you the guy that I'm looking for? Because all these things that you mentioned, those are things that are important to you that you do not want to be compromising in a relationship. That's perfectly fine. I want you to stand by that. And I also want you to say to yourself, anyone who comes across you that's not that, no need to bother wasting your time. So when you're saying that, I would never actually date him for real, right? Unless who cares? Unless he what? Is a different person? No, because what you're describing is everything that he's not. So who cares? All the things that he's not, that's not what you're looking for. All you need to be focused on is what you're looking for. So if your answer to your question is I wouldn't date him for real, don't even bother talking to him. Don't even bother in engaging in conversation with him. Don't bother doing anything with him if you already know that's not a guy you could even see yourself with. Okay. And don't say that's not a guy I could see myself with unless he changes. Because the reality of it is 99.9% of guys ain't going to change a damn thing. So if that's how you know him and that's how you've met him and that's how the situation has been with him, don't even bother trying to think to yourself, oh, if things change, will I want to date him? Well, then you should be saying to him, well, goodbye, sayonara, and until you come back and things are a little bit different, then I will consider if I like you or want to build something with you. Until then, there's nothing to build with you or talk to you for any reason whatsoever, not even for fun. So like you said, these are bare minimums, right? And then you said, what do you think I should reply? Nothing. Is there any chance he is genuine or not? Should I even respond at all? I don't want him at all if his intentions are to feed his ego, but if he does have good intentions, I'd like to give him a chance. I just want him to have good intentions and be loyal to me during the talking stage if I do give him a chance. Should I say something like my NB, what do you mean my NB is useless because I'm a bad texter? You mean like your phone? Because I'm a bad texter and only message to plan in real life hangouts and give him the chance when he asks me out, or should I say something else that will reject him completely? I did like him a lot when we were together, but I think of his intentions and him following all these blondes that don't like him back. When I think of them, I get the ick. If he does have bad intentions in pursuing me, I would rather reply with something that makes him regret fumbling than ghost him forever. If he is the one who seemed to be on dates, I'd like to give him the chance. Like if he is who he looked like he was going to be. Okay. So Anna, to answer your question real directly. Okay. I saw that you donated again. Okay. See, did that? You do it right. Anna doing it the right way. Okay. So in terms of, what you need to do in this situation. One, it's really nothing, because it's not your job to try to get him to date. To try to get him to approach you the right way when he's dating you. And the second thing that's really important that you need to realize is, for you, what is important to you, and you should not be compromising that for anyone in any scenario for any reason. So if he has, it doesn't seem like, you're saying that he seemed to be someone on dates, and that's why you'd want to give him a chance. But what has he actually been? Don't talk to me about what he seems to be on some dates. Tell me what he's actually been. What he's actually been is someone who follows all the girls in his college that don't follow him back, someone who doesn't have self-respect and follows girls in the first place, and someone who doesn't seem that interested enough in you to, respond or say anything to you if you're not just endlessly chit-chatting with him. Yeah, someone that doesn't seem necessarily to have genuine intentions. Like, you're giving me all your criteria to simultaneously say, yeah, he's not really doing those things. Right? And if that's the case, and he's not aligned with what you're looking for, then that's the answer to your question in itself. He's not what you're looking for. So then why bother thinking about how to get him to adjust his behavior, or what you should be doing, other than sitting around and just doing nothing? Because until he can show you that he's what you're looking for, you have no job there. Right? You have no obligation to make any sort of changes or adjustments in your own life, especially no changes or adjustments in what you're looking for, so that they can fit what he is. So you should be saying to yourself, unless he's going to ask me out on dates, I don't need to be telling him jack anything. Okay? You did mention here where you said, oh, should I let him know that I only like the real life hangouts and things like that? Like I've mentioned to you guys to say before, that is something you can say, where you tell him the reason I don't text very much is because, not because I don't like you, but because I'm much better in person. And you're going to get a much better version of me in person, and leave it at that. You don't have to say, if you ask me out on a date, you'll get a chance to see me and talk to me. Just say, I don't text a lot. I'm really busy. Got a lot going on. I'm a much better person in person. And I promise it's not because I don't like you. Leave it at that and allow him to take the initiative and say, okay, so then if that's the case, I'm going to make sure to approach you or ask you out because I like you and want to be with you and want to build something with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, if you say that to him and he does nothing, that is also a sign of how much real intention he has for you and for this relationship, okay? So you kind of have to throw him a bone and leave it be to see what he will do with that bone, and he has to then make a decision on what he wants to do after you throw him a bone. If he decides that he's not really prepared to do anything serious in this relationship and for you, and he doesn't care that much about this or to build this, then so shall it be, and you're not going to be doing the most for him. Now, if he decides to actually take some initiative, then you can start allowing him to possibly take you out on a date. But then also comes the next thing for you, which is the realization, if you don't like a guy who's going to be following a whole bunch of random girls on IG, and that's not the type of guy you even want to be in a relationship with, then why even entertain a guy who does that? Why not just entertain a guy who doesn't do that you don't have to be thinking about the prerequisite of dating him is going to be only if he stops that? Because then you're going to be asking him, hey, can you not be who you've been? or who you've always been, because I want to be with you, but I also don't like the way you are, so I want you to change. That doesn't work. You want to find the person. We added each other. Let me move my YouTube chat back here. Let me see. Move this over here. I want to be able to see this. You said, we met each other at a tech meetup and he was very professional. We added each other on LinkedIn and I didn't think anything else about it. About 2 months later, he asked me for my Instagram, so I gave it to him. After watching his post and videos, I liked the version he portrayed himself to be on there. On Instagram. Okay, I know that we're going to hop into something here, but I want to just help you guys realize this. You do not know people by meeting them and talking to them online, okay? The same way how a lot of times when you get in fights with someone over text, when you have a real conversation with them, you can fix it because there's so much more context to hearing people's voice, seeing their emotion, seeing the look on their face, seeing their body language. I need you to understand we were never made as humans to be able to connect with each other over the phone and over messages and words on a screen, okay? That doesn't mean that texting is the worst thing in the world, but I just want you to understand that this idea that you know someone that you message, or you know someone because you check their social media profile, that's not true, okay? And that's not real. And I want you to rid yourself of that mindset, because you're only going to end up suffering in your relationships, thinking to yourself that you're building something with someone that you don't actually know, because that's your idea of the person, not who that person actually is or has ever been. You following me so far? Okay. So I say that let's go on and we'll discuss. Okay. Cause I already have a feeling where this is going to go. So I had a slight cyber crush. Long story short, we met each other again in a different city at a different tech conference. Okay. After party. So actually, I should have acknowledged you did meet him first, right? At the tech meetup. And then afterwards, you saw him on Instagram. But here's the thing. What you said was not you said that you watched his post and then liked how he portrayed himself on Instagram, right? So that's why I mentioned that, because you didn't say, I liked how I met him and what he was like when I met him. You said after watching him on Instagram, then you kind of fell in love with how he portrayed himself. That's a totally different thing. And that makes me feel like your focus is the Instagram, not who he actually was when you met him. Okay. Just a side note. Long story short, we met each other again in a different city at a different tech conference after party. We had never spoke through Instagram or anything. Oh, okay. So you didn't actually talk to him. You just watched him. He stays in a different city than me. I saw him and spoke to him, and then I went to hang out with his friends. He basically followed me the whole night, and I would conveniently run into him. Long story short, we exchanged numbers, and I was his Airbnb at the end of the night. I tell you, boy, I tell you. What type of foolishness is this? What type of rubbish is this? What do you mean you were the Airbnb to a stranger that you just met? What do you mean by that? XOXO? That sounds very degrading and like you have no respect for yourself. Why would you be a man's Airbnb for free that you don't know? Do you not realize that's a stranger? Let's go on before I blow a gasket here. We're supposed to have a good day, rest of the day. Honestly, he wasn't that cool, kind of mean. Oh, yeah, he's a stranger. Would you have ever guessed that the guy you've been gawking over on Instagram is not actually like his Instagram? Who would have ever guessed? It's just Instagram. But I was a little tipsy and he's cute, so whatevs. What do you... let me... Okay, I don't want to... Namaste. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to blow a gasket. We're supposed to be having a good rest of the day. XOXO, what do you mean you invited a guy to your house? You let yourself be an Airbnb for a guy? And when he came over to your house, you were a little tipsy. He was kind of mean, but you were tipsy, so whatever. Do you take anything in your life seriously? Or is everything just a joke to you? You realize like Ted Bundy also got along real well with girls and got real close with them real fast. Okay? The safety thing is a huge issue and a main issue. And then the other issue is like, why are you like, oh God. Why are you not able to use discernment to say, cool, you're awesome. And I might think you're cool from Instagram. I don't actually know you. You're still a stranger. And also, why am I overextending myself for you when I don't know you? What do you think that's going to do to his psyche of you? Do you think he's going to be saying, oh, I should do more for this girl? Or say, oh, I should be extracting more from this girl? We had pineapples unprotected. Yeah, I'm going to get up, guys. I just needed, I wanted to have a good rest of the day, so I need to take a stretch. This is a stretch time. Chat, let's take a stretch, because Tomisin's going to blow a gasket. Let's take a stretch. Let's take a little lap around town. I'm going to just do a little walk here. I need to stretch my back. I need to just take a chill pill, because what the hell are you doing? Please explain to me what this thought process could possibly be. You know what, chat? Maybe it's because I'm a guy, so I don't understand. What is this thought process here? I meet you at a tech conference. Cool, we play with some gadgets. Cool, the brand new iPhone 35. I follow you on Instagram. I fall in love with your Instagram persona. Then I make then I become your personal Airbnb for free. Oh my God. This stuff makes me so mad. It's even more disrespectful because you said you were his personal Airbnb, but you didn't even acknowledge that he paid you anything. He just came over for free. And he probably drunk your alcohol. You said you were tipsy, so you probably drunk your alcohol, and he drank your alcohol. So you paid for the alcohol. He's staying over there for free. And he gets to sleep with you for free. Oh, sorry. Someone said she was at his Airbnb. Sorry, I thought she said she was the Airbnb. Okay. I was at his Airbnb at the end of the night. Sorry. I apologize, guys. I read that wrong. I thought she said she was the Airbnb the whole time. Okay. So you were at the Airbnb and still, now you're tipsy at this guy's Airbnb, and now you guys have unprotected pineapples. So mistake all the same. All right. Maybe a little bit less embarrassing because at least you're at his Airbnb. Still not good. Now, let's move forward. The pineapples was okay, but he kept stopping multiple times during. Okay, I feel like this is going to get really bad. I spent the night, but snuck out a couple of hours later. I figured it was just a fling. I didn't want to make it a thing. He texted me that day saying he wanted to just check up on me, and I responded back. I didn't hear from him. What do you want here? He wrote again the next day saying he forgot to hit send, so I replied back just telling him how I was and how I was doing. I mean, yeah, he probably woke up and was like, where did this girl go? Then he ghosted again and came back like 3 days later. Yeah, he literally jackrabbited himself inside of you at his Airbnb. He doesn't even know your last name. He doesn't even know your last name. He doesn't even know your last name. He met you at a tech conference. He probably has you saved in his phone as Tech Girl. Did you ever think about that? You're probably in his phone as Tech Girl. He probably can't even remember your name. And you're giving your mind, body, and soul to this man. Let's move on before I get mad again. At this point, I'm irritated, so I tell him like I wasn't expecting this to be a thing, so he can just stop texting. What are you doing? Are you like trying to jump ahead of the fact that you know you made a mistake? But I really didn't mean this. What are you doing? No, seriously. Like, what are you actually doing? I fail to see the purpose of any of this. You go over to his Airbnb. Sorry for making that mistake, guys. You go over to his Airbnb, you get drunk, you sleep with him. Then he messages you, sneak out like it's a fling. He messages you, and then you tell him that he can stop texting you. And then you say you didn't mean that when you said that. It's almost like you want him to ghost you, but you're going to be sad when he ghosts you. I wouldn't mind being cool or something. I mean, we did pineapples and I had been celibate for you. Oh my God. I was wondering why you guys in the chat kept saying celibacy, celibacy, celibacy. I was like, what are you guys talking about? You wasted a year of celibacy to do this? How old are you? I got to do 24-hour streams, I think. You wasted like a year of good, solid work focusing on you. And you came back to do this. I have no words. We watch each other's stories, but nothing more. Should I tell him that I really didn't mean that? Mean what? What is the, why? How is it possible that you can make the worst possible mistake and follow it up with the next worst possible mistake? And then the answer to your solution is the next worst possible mistake. XOXO, don't do that. What do you make of this situation? I actually never had this happen before, and it was almost a year ago. I can't get the situation off my mind and has been the only person I've pineappled within a year. I'm confused. Wow. XOXO. You need to be doing a lot less XOXOing and a lot more critical thinking, because what the hell were you doing? Okay, a couple things here. Number one, okay, you need to acknowledge that part of the reason that you're thinking about this is because of how huge of a mistake it was and how silly you acted. So your ego is hurt, feeling rejected, forgiving yourself to someone that you literally didn't know and is literally a stranger to you. Your ego is going to feel bad about that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I want you to understand that that's the reason why you feel that way. And then right after you realize that, I want you to realize that there's nothing wrong with feeling that way and being disappointed with your actions, but use that pain as a way to springboard yourself into better relationships without making silly, stupid mistakes like this, okay? So I want you to feel that pain, but not take that pain and think about how you can text him and call him and talk to him again, because that's the thing your ego will do to you. See, you're thinking, what should I do and make of this situation, when it's nothing? You're thinking to yourself, oh, maybe should I message him, right? Should I text him again and tell him I didn't? No. All you're going to be doing is digging a deeper and deeper hole for yourself, thinking that you're going to like somehow save this wasted body. Like I said to someone yesterday, I'm going to let you know this little secret that you may have not realized. That was a wasted body. You're never going to build any relationship with that man out of that experience, okay? I know that that's painful, and I know that that's not what you wanted to hear, but you need to hear it so that you can finally breathe it in and go to sleep. While it might be painful for the first couple of weeks, eventually you'll be able to say to yourself, cool, now I have to move on. Once you realize it's a mistake, and once you realize there's no coming back or redoing this mistake, you can actually start moving forward, because that's the only way you're going to gain any benefit from this situation. You're not going to get him back in to be able to like want to be with you and now all of a sudden want to date you. All of that has sailed. That entire ship has sailed. but use that pain that you feel thinking about how the ship has sailed to say to yourself, you know what? The next time I'm in a situation where I really like a guy, rather than just going based off of emotion, I'm going to stay put. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to analyze the situation, ask him questions, get to know him, wait, not jump into things before I make a decision on committing myself to him. That way I never have to experience this type of pain again and waste a body again. Okay? So XOXO Candy, your best choice or course of action after this is not to text him again or call him or do anything with him. In fact, I would advise you to either mute him or just straight up unfollow him, because you don't need to be seeing what he does. It's irrelevant. That guy's not going to ask you out on a date. That guy's magically not going to be like, oh my God, I want to marry you and I want to date you and be your boyfriend. None of that's going to happen. So get rid of that pipe dream. You've wasted the opportunity by presenting yourself the exact wrong way that he would never want to actually take you seriously. Okay. That ship has sailed, but in the realization that that ship has sailed, use that as a lesson of what not to do for your future. That's how you actually get somewhere with your situation. Not by thinking about how you can get this guy to like actually see you and notice you and want to be around you now, okay? It was as simple as for him as sleeping with a random girl that he met at a tech conference. You probably had a big booty or something, and he was like, cool, if I can sleep, like he's already at the Airbnb. If I can sleep with the girl at the Airbnb that I'm already going to be at and have a little bit of fun while I'm already at this Airbnb, cool, I'll do it. Like, he's not thinking much of it, and you shouldn't be thinking much of it either, because you didn't present yourself as something to actually be thought about or, you know, be analyzed. Okay? You've presented yourself as a fun girl that he doesn't have to worry or think about unless he wants to have fun with you. So next time, I want you to be thinking about how you present yourself through your actions. And if you want to be taken seriously by a guy, definitely do the opposite of what you did in this situation. Okay. Our next question here comes from, comes from Ellie. And Ellie says, how do I move forward with Ted? I need advice. Okay. So Ellie says, hey, Tomisin, once again, thank you for all you do. You have saved us from so many unnecessary traumas. I'm 23, dating a 25-year-old man. This is an update on my relationship with Ted. He's been consistent with initiating communication and dates for 3 months now. I have done nothing and let him pursue. He's been good so far. I haven't done pineapples with him, but we kiss and hold hands on our dates. I feel comfortable in my feminine and safe around Ted. I've caught feelings for him. Don't worry, I'll keep my emotions in check and won't act a fool. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see, okay? It's only been 3 months. In the process of getting to know each other, he told me that he has an ex-girlfriend of 7 years. Aha! We have identified what could be an issue. And they've been broken up for a year now. Okay, so this is the thing that I'll say to that. 7 years of being, 7 years in a relationship is closer to a decade than it is closer to 5 years. So I say that to say, or no, yeah, right? It's a long time, my point. I say that to say, closing in on a decade with someone, of spending time with someone and being in a relationship with them is a long time. And it's very hard to break the amount of, not only will you have a lot of romantic ties to that person and a romantic emotion towards that person, but your life will also be like tied to that person after 7 years. And so I say that to say, there's a lot more that has to go on breaking up with someone that you've been with for 7 years than just we're breaking up now. A lot of times that can't be just done in the process of just a year. I know you said it's been over a year, but depending on how long it's been since they actually ended, or if they even actually ended, that period can definitely take longer than a year for things to really be done for real. And even when they're really, really done for real, there is still a period of time where it's like, obviously your feelings for someone after 7 years of being with them can't just magically go away. So 7-year relationship, you really got to be gauging what is your emotional availability now. Do you still have residue of feelings for this old person? There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't make him a bad person. But like if he does, that's not going to work for you. Okay. And you can't be trying to build a relationship off of that. And you need to be very weary of that, because if you find yourself in that position, or you think that he's someone who's in that sort of emotional state, don't even bother. Don't even bother. I asked the reason why. Ted said his ex-girlfriend broke up. Sorry, asked the reason why Ted and his ex-girlfriend broke up, and his response was that she was not wifey material. And his final straw was that she was rude to his mother and told her to F off. I'm not going to say that that's a lie, okay? Because I don't know that. But I do feel like knowing someone is not wifey material does not take 7 years to realize. Okay? I'm going to speak for a man, as a man, and our thought process. I do not think that for a majority of men, it takes them 7 years to realize that someone is not wifey material. Okay? So while this explanation might not be a lie, I feel like there's more to explore than just she was not wifey material and she said F off to my mom one time. Okay? If the case is truthfully that you realized she wasn't wifey material, how did those things, this is where you have to start using your own discernment and logic to be able to say to yourself, okay, what can I infer from what you're giving me? Because if you didn't think she was wifey material, that didn't just happen overnight. So what was happening the first 1 or 2 years that either was making you think she was wifey material, or you weren't seeing the same problems? Or how is it possible that this could go on for so long and you could only realize that after 7 years? Okay. And if his response to you in that doesn't make a lot of sense, then you know he's leaving a lot of context out that would fill in the gaps. Right. And this is how you catch someone either omitting the truth, or just not telling you the truth and straight up lying to you. Right. Because this logically doesn't make sense. 7 years, and it took you 7 years to realize she wasn't wifey material. I asked him if he would get back with her if he decides to come back, and his answer was hell no. So if she decided to come back, he would say no. In a perfect la world, I would blindly believe him. Deep down, I know there's a high chance he has still some lingering feelings for his ex, because 7 years is a long time and history to share with someone. It's great that Ted has been transparent with me, but I can't help but feel a bit insecure knowing the history he shares with his previous relationship. Ted told me that he broke up with his ex and they are not in contact anymore. I've done a bit of detective work and I've seen that his ex-girlfriend is an RPM and possibly works at the same hospital where Ted works as well. He also mentioned to me that he lives in his neighborhood. Oh, sorry, I keep saying he. He also mentioned to me that she lives in his neighborhood. Okay. And they're in the same hospital. Okay. Tomisin, I need your advice on my situation. I've mentioned in my first post that Ted and I are a medium distance relationship, 1 hour drive apart. So she's closer to him than you are to him. Someone says, what's RPN? RPN is a nurse, right? RPN is a type of nurse. It goes RN, RPN. RPN is the one that gets paid well. Okay. It's a type of nurse. Okay. So she's basically saying, I believe you said, was it a hospital that they work at? Yeah, it's a hospital. So they're going to be seeing each other. I'll put it like that, because I know what an RPN nurse is doing at a hospital. They're going to be seeing each other, and if they work in the same hospital, if they work in the same unit of the hospital, they're seeing a lot of each other. So it's not like there's a random. Okay, they're randoms to each other now. After knowing about his previous relationship, I can't help but feel insecure. I'm not sure if I should proceed or let go. Truthfully, I can't afford another heartbreak because I'm in my final year of university and I want to do well. Can you please advise me on how to protect myself from getting hurt from this complicated situation? I need your insight. Thank you in advance. Okay, I'm going to give you what's real and not what's going to feel good. Based on what you said to me, okay, RPN, right? And his ex-girlfriend works at the same hospital. Let's go ahead and make a couple of what are assumptions, but should be educated guesses based on the information that we have. Now, obviously, if they're in a relationship and they work at this hospital together, let's imagine that the capacity in which they work at this hospital, they probably see each other sometimes. Maybe not all the time, but they probably do see each other at least sometimes, right? And so that should tell you right then and there, despite them being in a 7-year relationship, this is not like magically over forever where they're never going to see each other or speak to each other. They, even though we don't know if they work in the same unit in the hospital, they definitely do see each other sometimes, at the very least. Let's just assume that. And if that's the case, this person isn't random to them and that they're never going to see each other ever again. And so when you realize that, you have to say to yourself, okay, this guy's been with her for 7 years. Even though they broke up, it's only been a year. On top of that, it's not like she's disappeared out of his life, so he's still seeing her. And remember, we just talked today about how to stop thinking about someone. One of the worst ways to actually one of the worst ways to go back to thinking about someone is to see them over and over again. That literally lengthens the time and amount of time it takes to get over someone by probably double. I don't know the exact amount because it's not a perfect science, but it definitely lengthens that amount of time, because every time you see them, those feelings come back up again. Every time you talk to them, all those feelings come back up again. And it really makes it hard to grieve the situation when you're constantly seeing them, and especially if they work in the same unit and he's constantly having to communicate to her once again. So I'll say this to say, I don't think that the capacity he is in, the situation that he is in currently with his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, is going to allow him or make it easy for him to actually work through his feelings. And so when I say that, I want you to realize that you're going to put yourself in a really, really tough situation trying to build a relationship with a guy who's been with a girl for 7 years, and that same girl he works with in the same hospital. It's already going to be hard for him, even without building something with you, to get over his feelings for her. I don't care how much he says she wasn't wifey material or whatever it is it may be. Your feelings for someone after 7 years don't fall off of a cliff and disappear. He can say what he wants. He can try to be a manly man and beat his chest like a gorilla. It doesn't matter. That's not how human beings work. And so when I say that, he's still going to feel things. And even worse, while he's trying to build with you, it's already hard enough to feel those things and be single. But now as he's trying to build with you, he's going to be trying to pretend as if he doesn't feel those things and trying to suppress those feelings, which is going to make it that much harder to grieve those feelings. And like I said earlier, after 7 years, your life becomes tied to someone. It's not just the emotions of it. His family knows her, his friends know her. There's definitely going to be a lot of back and forth before things are done for good. And I need you to realize that. And honestly, if you want my real honest advice to you, truthfully, Ella, the best thing for you to do is to not mess with a man in this situation. I think if you want my opinion, based on the situation that he's in, the fact that it's 7 years, and it's only been about a year since they broke up. And on top of that, he still sees his ex, which is essentially every day, or at least 5 times a week. Let's assume that's how much he works. You're asking a lot to expect that man to not have any leftover feelings for that girl. You're also asking a lot to expect that down the road, these feelings won't come back up, especially when she's still seeing him, especially when if he's presenting it as he's trying to present it, he broke up with her, and if she still wants to be with him, you think she's not going to be at that hospital trying to convince him for them to get back together? You think she's not going to be at that hospital trying to text him things or talk to him or have conversations with him that maybe they could work things out? You think she's not going to be trying to apply pressure or put pressure on him? I mean, she was with him too for 7 years. And so you have to start thinking to yourself, are you prepared to deal with everything that comes with being with someone who just got out of a 7-year relationship? And I don't say this, Ella, because I know he's been treating you well and things have been going well. I don't want to say this to disappoint you, but I want to spare you of a little bit of heartbreak when Guys are going to tell you that they're all good and everything's all good and they don't care and they're over it. And then about a couple months down the road, you're going to realize that they weren't actually over it. Not because they tell you that, but because you realize that by what they end up doing and how they end up treating you. And I don't want that for you. I really don't. I honestly think the best thing for you to do is to take a step back from this guy and realize that he's probably not in a situation where he's going to be emotionally ready yet for a relationship. And if he really, and when I say take a step back, I want you, in this very specific situation, I want you to take a step back and leave the door open for him to really show you something. Like really prove to you that he's ready to build this with you. And as horrible as this sounds, I want you to do really nothing, like less than nothing for him. Why? Because you really need to give him the space to prove to you like he really wants this to happen. Not that he kind of wants this to happen or he kind of wants you or kind of wants to build with you. Like he really needs to show you that this situation is behind him and is not something he wants to revisit at all. You have to be ultra careful in the situation that you're in, investing yourself heavily into a guy who's still emotionally tied to someone else. So if you know that you really can't resist this guy and you don't want to dump him and you don't want to let him go, you need to kind of like approach this from a distance where you kind of really need to let him show you something. And even more than that, I want you to start getting really, really curious. Ask a whole lot of questions. Okay. You don't need to become like an interrogator, but I really want you to be digging deep, asking multiple different questions about his past experiences, his relationship with her. You don't have to bring her up specifically, but just experiences overall as they relate to the relationships that he's been in. And obviously he's going to be referencing this a lot. Right. So you want to be asking him things like, what were some of the things that weren't working out for you? Right. And if he asks you, well, why do you want to know what are the things that weren't working out for me? You want to tell him, hey, I would love for our relationship to not end up in the same place as that one. And I would love to know the things that we should avoid. So if you tell me what went on in that relationship, it would make it easier for me to understand the things that we might want to avoid or try to fix before it becomes an issue. See, when you present things like that, then he starts to look dumb or like he doesn't want to solve problems. If he tells you that he's not going to tell you things that would give you information to make you two have a better relationship. So you want to be asking him questions that's like, hey, the more I understand about why that didn't work out, the better our relationship can be. And when you present it like that, he's within a rock and a hard place where he has to say either I tell you what happened so we can avoid it, or I don't tell you and we can avoid it and we go through the same thing. But if I'm here, wouldn't I want to avoid those things and have a happy relationship? Right? So you kind of put him in a weird situation like that, but then you'll be able to extract a lot of information that way. So you need to be asking follow-up question on follow-up question on follow-up question until you're blue in the face. You need to have a real crystal clear picture of what that relationship was, what transpired, and why it ended. Okay, Ella? All right, guys, I know I didn't get a chance to answer so many questions today, but I want to make sure we stay a little bit on time today. And I know we had a lot of tomfoolery with the internet, but tomorrow, I promise you, there will be no internet issues. I will make sure of it. I'll make sure. All right. So if you have a question for me that you want to get answered and you want to skip the line, make sure that you guys know you can go ahead in the premium Discord and ask your question there. You simply just have to go into the link in my bio on TikTok. You click where it says premium Discord question. You fill it out the form. That's not a little form. You just fill out the little space there where it puts your Discord username and the title of your question so I can verify it's you. And I will answer your question live on the show and you'll get to skip the line. Or you can send it into the free section, but I'll let you know your question won't get answered for about a month because I have to go really far. It's, for the free version, there's a lot of questions to answer there. All right. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram because you love everything that I do and you want to see me all times of the day, my Instagram is right on the top left side of the screen there on top above my head. It's just Tomisin_tub. And it's the same thing on YouTube there on the bottom right of the screen as well. All right. And for those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch watch parts of the show, it's like in 2 parts now. So when you go onto my live section, you'll see part number 1 and part number 2, and you can rewatch both of those and be able to see everything that we discussed here today, along with all the previous live shows that I've ever done since the beginning of the time. All you got to do is type in my name on YouTube. It's right above my head on the top right side of the screen there, okay? Go in the live section, okay? That's where you'll find the entire show. And you'll have the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video. That's the best part, all right? I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that's when you're going to catch me right on time, live again, okay? 4 p.m. Eastern time. So you got to figure out what time that is in your time zone, all right? So I'll be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Until then, arrivederci, au revoir, hasta la vista, adios, goodbye, sayonara, bon voyage, and I will see you again tomorrow. So much love. Maybe I'll do a stream during the weekend. We'll see how I feel. Well, no promises, no promises. Maybe we'll see.